For a fun drinking game, try taking a shot every time I say a bad word in this video. So, a video where I don't have to crap it all out immediately and a chance to take my time and actually talk? Yeah, I'm still putting minimal effort in editing. I made an hour-long video and YouTube cucked me, so I'm not trying that shit again. I've clearly gotten over my bitterness. Anyways, Castlevania, more particularly Nocturne, and Romance is pretty good. Yeah, look, I know I've shown myself to be a hater, and I will gladly make a sequel video to this post-Season 2, but Castlevania does romance with less flair and more dynamics, which is better than most shows by a long shot. In this, I'll be talking about a few examples, but I really want to talk about the ship that made racists pitch such a fit that they looked like they were trying to claim the game, Annette x Richter, because Black Lady bad. So, if you never watched Castlevania, why are you watching this? But to keep things simple, I'm going to spoil the whole thing from Castlevania to Nocturne Season 1, and some of the games too. So tread carefully because I'm too lazy to put in timecodes. So in Castlevania Netflix, you got Dracula and Lisa, Trevor and Sypha, and Alucard with Greta.
Who?
Yeah, everyone forgot who she was, so no blame there. Dracula and Lisa is the most simple but effective, with Dracula being the manly, introvert, smart guy, and Lisa being the humane and loving, curious woman who's passionate about humanity. Their short and innocent love is what made Castlevania worth watching. Because to have a demon be humanized, a woman showing she's willing to stand up against a threat to teach him manners, all of that only to end up with the church denouncing their heterosexual and wholesome love as a sin, is honestly perfect. With Season 4 leaving the two in peaceful romantic bliss leaves us with the question, where the fuck are those two? But I see this replicated in Olrax and Mizrak. Yeah, I'm going to talk about these gay boys first. Olrax is basically reeling from Julia Belmont, who was Richter's mom's, murder of his Mohican lover. And as a post-Spanish invasion Aztec, he's just kinda done, and needs something good to keep him going instead of dying from an overdose of cynicism. Enter boring-looking Mizrak, the character everyone forgot existed. At first, being a guy who evaded questions and insisting the church is good, despite priests making literal monsters to fight off revolutionaries and working with vampires. Don't even question it. We once again, just like with Dracula and Lisa, have a cynic meeting a passionate person who wants to do right and has a hero complex, which, simply put, is always a great setup for relationships in media. Olrax traumatizes Richter and Mizrak confronts him, and then they rapidly go from soldier versus vampire to brown boys in love. Olrax shows vulnerability but is too cynical to believe in change, while Mizrak is a man who's willing to get his hands dirty in an effort to force change to happen. That reminds our PTSD-suffering Aztec of his former partner. Again, a human and vampire relationship done where the vampire learns he has to grow thanks to human passion for change. Nice. Next up is Trevor and Sypha, which is just dude bro and responsible chick. Now, Castlevania the game and the Netflix series are as contentious as Alucard's Age of Consent, but Trevor in Season 1 was a drunk, depressed guy, and Sypha was a passionate woman who wanted to help those around her. You starting to see a pattern yet? By Season 2, they're building close chemistry, and by Season 3, they're already hooking up, and Season 4, they're saying I love yous and hint at settling down post-beating unremarkable villain. And I see that happening with Annette and Richter. And now, to the meat and potatoes of this video. As in my previous Nocturne video, the big problem in the series is that Richter didn't get much screen time, because the writers had to spend time explaining the new lore in the series. With the new setting being the French Revolution, we don't have time for simple man versus vampire chicanery. Rather, we need to talk about how the church is aligned with slave masters and the rich, and with a new version of Annette being part of the new lore drop, she's by definition gonna get lots of screen time, making an uneven balance between the two characters, and thus racist comments. Annette in the series is actually one of the better written characters, and I know folks want to jump on her, but I think that's because people are hurt with Richter not getting time, more so than actually seeing what's wrong with her. So, to summarize, in the games, Annette is really a nothing burger of a character. She was just a chick to get saved by Richter and made him feel sad when she got turned into a vampire. And then he moved on like nothing happened because we got 20 million blonde love interests in the game series, so take your pick. In the Netflix series, she's instead an active fighter and a former slave turned earthbending master with connections to gods. Yeah, please continue with that, as her main defining features include her unrelenting anger and desire to free people, being both a pro, through her wanting to help others and being one of those characters that gets shit done, and con, being she causes folks to get killed. Richter, on the other hand, is more of a badass who just wants to be on himbo status, not really wanting to charge into battle, but more so being led into battle. Reliant on Maria being the brains, he doesn't have anything to fight for personally, just protect Maria and company, which on paper is fine, but he needs to find something for himself more important than just being a feisty cracker. No, Mom, I'm not being problematic. This element is mostly noted in episode 1, and doesn't get addressed until the end of episode 6, with only 2 more episodes left in the season. So to visualize this entire shit show, Annette gets 1 episode to introduce herself and the lore, a background episode, again lore, a chance to call Richter out.
It's what happened at the chateau.
So you're afraid?
I'm not afraid. I'm saying we need a plan.
We have magic. Or 3 of us do.
Another episode where she has the most badass kill in the series, and time to have tea and chat with her almost irrelevant ancestors. Have multiple fights, and be comforted when all shit goes south. Richter has 1 episode to show who he is, and runs away on the 4th. Oh my God! Oh yeah, Olrax pops in, triggers his PTSD, and Captain Himbo scampers off, leaving his loved ones behind. Yeah, the fandom was bitchy about it. I don't blame them. Moving on. And he was off by himself until the end of episode 6 to finally get some screen time. Yeah, this was designed to piss folks off that came to see Richter and who did not expect to be led down bunny trails of side character exposition. It wasn't until episode 7 where shit got cooking. And episode 7 is pretty darn good, as this romantic scene builds off of Richter's progression from episode 6 and gave the characters who at the beginning only exchanged some glances here and there some concrete time to actually talk.
I just want to apologize personally to you and swear I'll...
I knew you'd be back. I was more concerned than I wanted to be.
Oh? The muscles, huh?
When I had nothing to hold on to and everything was gone, I remembered the things that make me who I am. The hopes, the pain, and the shit. The love in this house.
I won't let myself be afraid ever again.
But we are afraid. It's not always bad. It just means we have something to lose.
And the chemistry in this scene is honestly better than the witty banter in the Trevor and Sypha ship, which gave more of a she went to college, he went to repair shop vibe than 2 characters being on equal footing. I'm hoping they'll have more equal time in season 2 in order to talk more like they did here.
So, due to editing making me lose more than my shit, things may be janky here, and since I'm already late to Squid Game with y'all who never talked about Squid Game stealing my views, I'm just gonna shit this one out and get on with my day, because I saltier than a sardine's nutsack. Anyways, on to Alucard.
Now this needs its own video, but Alucard is kind of complicated in the series. In the games, he's kind of this elegant badass who
primarily works alone. He's seen as a fan favorite, but has a very subtle personality that usually doesn't get fleshed out via not having a partner to bounce off of. This usually made him sometimes standoffish and stale compared to the more engaging personalities in the game series, like sexy racist grandpa over here. In the Netflix series, Alucard in season 1 and 2 had Trevor to bounce off of to show a bit of his character. Thus, we got to see more about his personality and values, and see how he works with others. However, due to him being a very subtle character, he's not as noticeable or memorable as Sypha's emotional intelligence, bouncing well off of Trevor's crude but genuine kindness.
Are you okay?
Tired.
My dusty old sheet is big enough for 2. And nobody was ever lonely in this house.
It's not like your sadness.
I'm not sad.
Yes, you are. But I can shout at you or tease you and get a reaction that lets me know you're still in there.
Am I really sad?
All the time. You don't even notice it now. It's just how you are. I mean, your stinky blanket.
In all honesty, that stink might not be my blanket.
Which leads to Greta.
I'm actually fine with him and Greta. Now, for those who suffer from dementia, in season 4 near the end, Alucard meets Greta, a woman who's passionate about saving the lives of the nearby village and gives the introverted Alucard a chance to finally step out of his daddy's home. Now, Alucard's physical age and mental age is all up in the air, thanks to writers not knowing what to do with their lore.
And I grew up very fast.
What does that mean?
I'm being literal. I aged very quickly.
Nani?
That may explain something.
What?
Perhaps you're just an angry teenager in an adult's body.
A video I could make if I so happen to get more subscribers than all my Gmail accounts I've made to subscribe to my own channel. Nonetheless, Greta was an original character to the show and isn't too developed, which is shocking for how much the show loves showing off its own lore. But this dynamic is more about giving Alucard something to do rather than be depressed from trusting folks that were about to kill and assault him. R.I.P. Twincest. And that's perfectly fine. Alucard is developed enough where a relationship isn't needed, but could work. It's just that the trio, Alucard, Sypha, and Trevor, was developed the most, and with 2 out of the 3 hooking up, it leaves Alucard as the lonely third wheel, unless the writers eventually throw a little something his way.
The writers introducing Greta, while she's forgettable as all sin, is actually a great foundation for the future of Alucard's character within the series, and can contribute something to Season 2 of Nocturne. With Trevor and Sypha no longer being around Alucard, Greta gave him a reason to step out and actually help others, thus expanding his role from daddy killer to a man of myth and legend saving humans from the demons of the night. And looking at the trailer of Season 2, it seems he's going to play up this helper role by being a mentor for Richter and the others to organize and start their revolution, thus giving him a chance to shine and no longer be in the shadow of Trevor and Sypha. And with him finally getting a group to bounce off personality-wise, it seems promising for his character at least.
Either way, Richter and Annette for the win. Olrox and Mizrak better bang one more time before Olrox clearly dies.
And Alucard actually doing something and not being an absentee character for the plot.
That's it for now, and oh yeah, Tara and Emmanuel. Jesus Christ. Till my next video, you know what to do. Subscribe, ring the bell, or not, and I'll see all 12 of you later.